folks here, great praise. We got a great cheering section behind. And I'll just say one other thing about what an honor it is for me. I encouraged Hillary Clinton in April of 2014, please get in and run for president in 2016. And I did that because I knew it would be a challenging time and she would be the best qualified person to be president of this country. Absolutely. But I was also struck as we stood on the stage in Philadelphia, and I'll tell you, Pennsylvania showed a lot of hospitality, did a great job at the convention. As I stood on the stage at that history-making moment, when the balloons were falling, and we realized that a major party had nominated a woman to be president for the first time in the history of this nation. And I thought about every strong woman who has supported me during my life and during 22 years and 8 electoral campaigns, including my fantastic wife, Ann, Virginia's former Secretary of Education. And I realized this is an election that can not only make history for the country and do good things, but it gives every strong man in this country to show that they can support strong women leadership just as much as strong women have supported us for hundreds of years. Only one bad thing has happened to me since I got in this ticket, folks, and I'm just going to be honest. As soon as I was part of the ticket, Donald Trump had to figure out a name to call me. I'd been skating under the radar. He wasn't saying anything about me. And then I end up being on the ticket, and I take the nomination, and he gives a press conference the next morning, and he said that Tim Kaine was a lousy governor of New Jersey. Now, you know, I mean, when you're super sensitive like me, you know, I kind of felt bad, but then I realized, wait a minute, I never was governor of New Jersey. I've never lived in New Jersey. But look, you got to give Donald Trump a break. He's new at this. The civics, the 50 states, New Jersey is different than Virginia. I mean, come on. What do you expect? What do you expect? So here's the deal. We're on this bus tour through Pennsylvania and Ohio to talk about how to create an economy that is going to grow and it's going to provide opportunities for all, not just for a few. And Mark, the way you said it, you're not going to inspire entrepreneurs and grow jobs by terrifying people. You're going to do it by inspiring people. I mean, it can't be put any better than that. It can't be put any better than that. And if you boil it all down between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, it comes down to a pretty simple question. Pretty simple question. Do you want a you're fired president or a you're hired president? I mean, we know Donald Trump is the you're fired guy, and long after this campaign is over and after he's lost and after we've forgotten everything about the Trump campaign, we will remember these 2 words, you're fired. We will remember those 2 words. But what's so great about Hillary is she's laid it out in pretty clear detail. This is what I want to do to get this economy growing and growing for all. And you're going to hear her talk about that. It's growing skills so that there can be these great new entrepreneurs and great workers, and making sure that people have the skills, are treated fairly with wages that are fair and benefits that are fair and pay equity for women and paid family leave. If we're going to honor workers, we got to have policies that honor workers, right? You've got to have a tax code that is fair to workers. We have a tax code now that loves investors and punishes workers. No, you got to have a tax code that I want to love investors. We got to love workers too, and you got to have tax reform to do that. Advanced manufacturing, research, infrastructures to build roads and ports and buildings to hire people and then raise our platform for success. Hillary, you go to HillaryClinton.com, one click, you can find out how she's going to do it all specifically. How she'll do it, how she'll pay for it, how we'll benefit. Sometimes people have criticized her for the details, and what she said the other night is really important. She said, well, look, some people, they don't like the details, but if it's your kid or if it's your business, it ain't a detail, it's a big deal. And that's really important. And that's really important. Now, I'll just say this about Donald Trump, and then I'm going to introduce our next president. So Hillary's got plans. Donald Trump, no plans. Not a single plan. He will tell you we're all going to be rich, but what's the plan there? He just says, believe me. We're going to beat ISIS, believe me. We're going to build a wall and we're going to make Mexico pay for it. How are you going to do it? Believe me. Nothing's funny in my tax returns, believe me. Hey, by the way, does anybody here think there's nothing funny about Donald Trump's tax returns? I mean, does anybody here think Donald Trump has been paying his fair share of taxes? Does anybody here think that Donald Trump has given a lot of money to charity? Does anybody here think Donald Trump should do what every modern presidential candidate has done and release his tax returns so we can make our own decisions? Well, the problem with the believe me is that there's an awful lot of stories about people who did believe Donald Trump. Contractors who believed him and never got paid. Employees who believed him and saw their jobs outsourced and they got laid off. Students at Trump University who not only believed him but put a whole lot of money in his hands only to end up with a certificate that wasn't worth the paper that it was written on. Retirees that believed him, gave him their life savings, bought a condo for retirement only to get no condo and lose all their money. People have believed Donald Trump, and when people have believed Donald Trump, they've ended up getting hurt. So when Donald Trump looks you in the face and says, believe me, is there anybody in here who will believe Donald Trump? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We cannot afford to put a nation as great as ours into the hands of a slick-talking, empty-promising, self-promoting, one-man wrecking crew. We just can't do it. We just can't do it. So, what we have in Hillary Clinton is a seasoned public servant who has gotten results for people her whole life. She's not a me-firster. She's a families and kids firster. And she has battled from long before she got into public office to make meaningful difference, whether it's getting health care for those who went into the buildings after 9/11 to save the victims of a terrorist attack and making sure she could get health care, or whether it's battling for 8 million American children who have health insurance because of Hillary Clinton. She would never stand up and say, believe me. She believes in you. And together with you, we're going to put a great president in and make history. Please welcome, warm welcome, Hillary Clinton.
Hello, Pittsburgh. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Wow, it is so great being back here in Pittsburgh with all of you. And I can't tell you how happy I am to be here with a Pittsburgh native who worked hard for everything that he has made and has helped a lot of people along the way. What he exemplifies is the American dream, but he understands the dream gets bigger the more you share it. And I want to thank Mark Cuban for being here. loved hearing his stories. I especially loved everyone learning what he did when he became successful and sold companies. He shared the benefits with everybody who helped him be a success. He said when he sold the company, the second one, for a big amount of money, he shared it with everybody, made 300 millionaires, including people who were working at minimum wage, because they helped him be a success. And Mark is right. I want to do what I can to make it possible for more people who help their businesses succeed, share in the profits. Because when we share, we grow. And you know what I believe? We are stronger together, and that's how we're going to make it in America. Now, I want to thank your elected officials who have been on this pre-program and thank them for their support, because I am really looking forward to working with them. They're bringing people together on behalf of Pittsburgh and Allegheny County and Western Pennsylvania. So thanks to Congressman Mike Doyle. Thanks to Mayor Bill Peduto. Thanks for Allegheny County Executive Rich Fitzgerald, Councilman Dan Gilman, and Mayor John Fetterman from Braddock, PE. Now, as you heard from Tim Kaine, we are on a bus tour, and we are having a great time because we get to drive through Pennsylvania, which really is one of the most beautiful places on earth. And I don't say it because it's the first time I've seen it. My father was born in Scranton, Pennsylvania. And every summer of our lives, we drove from outside of Chicago, where we lived, to Scranton, and because we did it every year, and a lot of times also during Christmas, we took different routes. So I was in Pittsburgh a lot. And my dad and my brother went to Penn State, so I was at State College a lot. So for me, this is really a sentimental tour through Pennsylvania. And it gives me such personal joy because I love this Commonwealth. And I know that a lot of good things are happening here because people are working together. But we're going to make more good things happen. We're going to have a coordinated, specific set of plans to create more jobs right here in Pennsylvania, to give more people a chance to fulfill their own dreams, to lift up the incomes of hardworking people, to create what I view as an opportunity society, where if you do your part, you can get ahead and stay ahead. That's the basic bargain of America, and we're going to keep our end of it. Now, as you heard Tim say, I have laid out plans in this campaign. I have this old-fashioned idea that basically I'm being interviewed to be hired. This is a giant job interview. And I'm hoping I am hired and the other guy is fired. But I'm not asking you to vote for me just because I show up and just because I tell you you're supposed to believe in me and you're supposed to just count on me to come up with something that I don't tell you about beforehand. I'm not doing that. I'm laying out my plans in this campaign. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to, in the first 100 days, break through the gridlock in Washington and have the biggest infrastructure and jobs program that we've had since World War II. We're going to be investing in our roads, our bridges, our tunnels, our ports, our airports, our water systems, but we're also going to be investing in a new electric grid that can then take advantage and distribute all the new clean, renewable energy we're going to be producing. And we're going to do something else. We are going to finish the job of providing high-speed, affordable, broadband, internet connectivity to every single home and business in America. I was in Harrisburg last night, and I told the crowd there, beautiful night, a place called the Broad Street Market. It was just magical. And I told them we were going to do this on broadband. And then I said, you know, I was talking to a bunch of teachers, and they just did a survey, a national survey. I love teachers. I could tell you something about every one of my public school teachers, starting in kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. But I was talking to them, and they said, you know, 70% of the teachers in America assign homework to our kids that requires the kids to go on the internet. Now, I think that makes sense. You know, just like Mark was a pioneer in using the internet to deliver services, we want our kids to know how to use it and how to learn from it. And who knows, they may grow up and follow in Mark's footsteps for whatever the next generation is. But here's the kicker. 5 million kids in our country don't now have access to the internet in a way that enables them to do the homework they're asked to do. That's 5 million kids who are being left out. And after I finished saying that in Harrisburg, I was walking the line, as I will after I talk here, meeting people, shaking hands. And one of the men I met said, you know, that's only half of it. We still have places in Pennsylvania, he told me, where our only option is dial up. Right? I see heads nodding. How are we going to be a competitive 21st century economy and take on and win in the world if we can't even get broadband, if we can't even get internet connectivity to every single home and business? And we're going to do that. Now, in addition to growing the economy, we are going to make it fairer. And this is a big deal, too, because I want everybody to be lifted up. I want everybody to benefit from their hard work, the way Mark has done with his businesses. So there's a couple of things we can do at the government level, as well as encourage more businesses to follow Mark's example. We can raise the national minimum wage so that more people have a chance to get themselves out of poverty and into the middle class. And we can do more to help small businesses, because that is where most of the new jobs are created. So let's do more to get them the credit they need and get rid of the red tape and the bureaucratic obstacles. But you know, the fastest way to raise incomes in America, it's pretty simple. Let's finally guarantee equal pay for women's work. I gotta add, I think most of you know this, but this is not a woman's issue. It isn't. Because here's what I'd ask you. If you have a working mom, wife, sister, or daughter, it's your issue. It's a family issue. And when women are shortchanged, families are shortchanged, and the economy is shortchanged. And the other thing we're going to do, we're going to make sure that we pay for everything I'm proposing. Everything from paid family leave to preschool for kids. We're going to make sure we pay for it, because I want you to know exactly what I'm going to do and exactly how I'm going to pay for it. And I am going to go where the money is. You know that old movie, Follow the Money? Well, 90% of the income gains have gone to the top 1%. So we're going to try to get those who've been successful, sorry, Mark, we're going to try to get those who've been successful to help us fund what will make America even more successful and create more millionaires and more billionaires, more entrepreneurs, more success stories. You see, I am so excited in part because I've seen what Pittsburgh has done. I told you I used to come to Pittsburgh all the time. So I have had a firsthand look at the way this great American city has reinvented itself. It didn't happen by people insulting each other. It didn't happen by folks pointing fingers and demeaning one another. It happened because people got together and said, wait a minute, we love this place. Right? So how do we reimagine and reinvent Pittsburgh for the future? Let's not just keep looking backwards, let's look forwards. How do we create more jobs? How do we bring young people back? During the primary, I was at Carnegie Mellon. I was knocked over by what I saw going on there. So I get excited. I want us to really believe that America's best years are ahead of us, but to understand the only way we're going to make that a reality is by working together and recognizing that we've got to do more to make sure everybody is brought along. You know, education is still the door to opportunity, but it's not just one kind of education. You know, I believe we need to start with preschool education because I want every child prepared to be successful when that child gets to school. And I want to be sure that in elementary and secondary school, we're providing the tools that kids will need to make the most out of their own talents and ambition. And so let's make sure we've got computer science and coding and technology programs in our high schools again. And I have a plan to make community college free so that more people can get 2-year degrees to get a good job. There are about 1 million jobs right now that aren't being filled, and a lot of those jobs are in the trades. A lot of those jobs require skills. We are going to have a shortage of machinists and welders and tool and die makers, and these are good jobs. And I want us to start respecting the work that people do to build America again. And then we're going to do more with apprenticeship programs. I'm going to offer a tax credit so that businesses will provide apprenticeship programs that will pay young people to learn the skills that will give them a path to a new job. And I'm going to support unions that are already providing apprenticeship programs for young people. And we are going to make public colleges and universities debt-free so that every single young person can afford to go. And then we are going to give you ways to refinance your student debt to get the costs down. It's just not right. Donald Trump gets to take bankruptcy. American families and students get stuck. Well, we're going to change that. We're going to give you a way to pay less because we're going to lower interest rates, pay it as a percentage of your income, put a date certain when your obligations end, and if you do public service like teaching or policing or firefighting, we're going to forgive your college debt. Now, I'm excited by this because I have seen it work. I know that if we make up our minds and roll up our sleeves, we will create these jobs and we will unleash a whole new generation of entrepreneurs. I want young people to feel like they can start their own businesses. They can take chances. I really appreciated Mark saying, you know what, he didn't succeed 100% of the time. I don't know anybody who has. But you learn by trying. And I want to encourage more Americans not just to dream again, but try again. And I want people to know that we can make things in America, because I believe that if we put our minds to it, we can do more in advanced manufacturing, clean energy technology. We can bring back some precision machining from Germany and Japan with a public-private partnership where we work to support manufacturers so that they can be competitive worldwide. Now, Donald Trump talks a big game about putting America first, but then you actually peel back the story, and what do you find? He makes Trump shirts in Bangladesh, not Ashland, Pennsylvania. He makes Trump furniture in Turkey, not Freeburg, Pennsylvania. He makes Trump picture frames in India, not Bristol, Pennsylvania. And I just have to point out, my husband is wearing a shirt that was made right here in Pennsylvania, in Reading, Pennsylvania. And you know, when we were packing for the bus tour, and he said, well, what am I supposed to wear? I said, well, I don't know. It's sort of bus tour casual, you know. And so, you know, he's going through his closet, and this morning in the hotel in Harrisburg, he's putting this shirt on. He goes, you know what? This shirt was made in Reading, Pennsylvania, and you will not believe this, at a company called Bills. So we have a very stark choice in this election. It really is about the difference between pulling together, working together, making the future better together, and living with fear and anxiety and the kinds of insults, the bigotry, the blustering and bullying that we're seeing from the other side. Now, I know, because I've had the great experience of observing presidents up close, and working for 4 years for President Obama as Secretary of State. And even working with Republican presidents. I may not have agreed with what their positions were, but I will tell you this. I've had the great privilege of observing presidents, listening to them, understanding what they're trying to achieve, and even where our positions diverge. I have never doubted that they were trying to figure out in their own minds, based on their own experiences, what was right for America. We've never had someone run for president who is so manifestly, temperamentally unfit and unqualified to be president and commander-in-chief. And I understand what he's doing. There are a lot of people in our country who are frustrated. They feel like maybe the economy has passed them by, that their government doesn't help them, that nobody is listening to them, nobody cares about them. I get that. That's why I said in my convention speech, I want to be a president for all Americans, Republicans, independents, Democrats, people who vote for me, people who don't vote for me. Because I think we all are in this together. And I know that if we decide we're going to set some big goals for America, we'll achieve them, because that's what we've always done. And so when I think about the next 100 days of this campaign here in Pennsylvania, I will be doing everything I can to reach out and meet as many people as possible. I will go everywhere that Tim and I and Bill and Ann can reach. I will make sure that you know what I stand for, what I want to do, because I want you to hold me accountable. I want you to say, you know, I came and heard her, and because I need your ideas, not just during the campaign, but afterwards. I want us to begin a conversation that keeps going. As president, I won't be stuck in the White House. I'm going to be traveling around America, having meetings, listening, trying to learn what more we can do. But I can't get there without your help. I'm inviting you to join this campaign. Please, if you will, text JOIN, J-O-I-N, to 47246, or go to HillaryClinton.com. Sign up. Be part of this campaign. And by the way, we are hiring organizers in Allegheny County and across Pennsylvania right now. I want to end where Mark took us, because as I was backstage listening to him, I've watched him on Shark Tank. And you know, I've watched him very respectfully try to figure out, how can I help somebody? And if I can't, I can't. But if I can, here's what I'd like to do. And I've really admired that, Mark. I really did. Because we've got to have that attitude in our country again. How are we going to help each other, lift each other up, have each other's back? This country is really a place that people dream and build together. With us in Philadelphia were so many wonderful people who told their stories. If you saw them during the convention, you heard the bravery, the determination. That, to me, is the best of America. Whatever position one holds, whatever kind of background one has, getting up every day, trying to make the most out of your own life, trying to get your family to go through barriers and obstacles to make the most out of theirs, reaching out to neighbors, being part of this dream that we all share. The American dream is not limited, my friends. The American dream is as big as we make it. And with your help, we're going to make it bigger than